Hi, this is a quick demo to show you how you could debug a Lambda function locally. This is the function which is linked to a RESTful API. So the Lambda function is created through Amplify framework. The goal is to show how you could debug that. And in debug, I mean by setting debug points and stuff like that. Traditionally, you would place some console statements, console.log statements, and you look at them in the CloudWatch. But then that is not good enough when it comes to debugging, because we want to step in and step out of code, because most of the time you might have some issues in your business logic, and we know that the functions are executing, but we just don't know what's going on inside. So debugging by setting debug points is highly valuable when it comes to identifying issues and fixing them. So I'm going to rush through, so feel free to move forward a few minutes and just look at how you could debug. I'm doing this because we'd like to have an environment. Okay, so I call this project as a demo and environment as dev, Visual Studio as my editor, JavaScript as a language, and React as a framework. Everything else is default. Okay, I'm also fast forwarding it just to save time. Okay, so we got that done now. So let's go ahead and add authentication now. Just choose all default options. I'm going to choose email, and that's about it. Okay, so let's go ahead and push. Now what we will have is the project and the authentication available in this project now. The resources will be now pushed to AWS Cloud. And after this, what we want to do is we want to add the RESTful API. Okay, so we have that now. Okay, so we have the RESTful API. I'm going to just call that as users. That's the API that I would like to debug. Okay, so that's in the name of the function is demo debug. I'm going to choose Node.js as the language, and serverless express function. Also secure this API. It's only those who are authenticated should have an access to this API. And that's it. So let's go ahead and now push the project to cloud. Okay, so let's go ahead and say yes. Okay, so there we go. So now if you run through Amplify status, we can see that we have all of those resources created. Okay, let's open the project in Visual Studio Code and click on debug on the left hand side. Create a launch.json file. Choose Node.js. Okay, the first thing that we're going to change is we're going to change from PWA to just vanilla node. Let's go ahead and remove those. Okay, we're going to change this instead of just invoking the app.js file. What we want to do is we want to have Amplify CLI there. So we're going to open a new terminal. I'm going to find out the location for Amplify on my machine. You can find in other operating systems how to find out where Amplify is. Once you have that, copy that path, have that under the program as the value for the program attribute. So I'm going to add a few more arguments quickly, and these are the arguments that you're passing to Amplify. We're basically saying Amplify mock this function. We need to get the function name, and we can also pass an event.json file. Okay, so we want to update the function name here. To find out the name of the function, we basically go to the files, expand the project. So expand the files and then expand the folder called Amplify backend and functions. And right under the functions, you'll have all your functions here. So in our case, the name of a function is demo debug, as you can see here. This is the function we want to debug. The last thing that we want to do is now we want to also be able to see the output in our integrated terminal in VS Code. That's going to show us what's happening when the program is running. So instead of going and looking to the CloudWatch. Okay, it's now time to go ahead and look at the event.json file. The events.json file can be found under the function. That's the function that which we are debugging right now, which is under the source folder. We want to basically add a few name value pairs here. The first one is HTTP method. We want to basically have the debugger get into the post method. If you wish, you can pass some values to the body if you have something as a part of your Lambda function that you're passing in the body as a payload. And in case if you have some query strings, you can also pass the query string parameters. I have my name passed in the username field, and that's about it. We are good to go and see the debugger in action now. Let's go to app.js file. The first thing that we want to do is to see if we can set a breakpoint here and run the debugger to see if we are able to hit the debug point. So let's go ahead and launch the program. Okay, we can see that there's a debugger that has been attached. Just waiting for that breakpoint. Once the program goes and hits the breakpoint, okay, there you go. We have now the program waiting at that breakpoint. We can step over if we want to, and that's about it. So basically, the app executed, and we can see that we also have the console statement in the integrated terminal. Okay, so now that we have demonstrated that, let's stop this and let's go to the post method. We are interested to see if we can debug our post method. Okay, to begin with, let's add a variable. I would like to basically look at the query string parameter that we are passing from the events.json file and set the debug point and waiting for it to see if we can hit the debug point. Okay, now that the debug is waiting there. Okay, there you can see now we have the value username, which is my name, and you can also see that the request object contains all the details. That's pretty much it. If you want to just let the program execute, you can either step over or we can just continue, and the program finished execution and we can see the response from that API. Thank you.